I have my notebook, I have a laptop and my phone all open with stuff that I want to share today. I'm overly caffeinated and I've had sugar in the form of chocolate caramels. So let's get this video started because I'm bursting. I'm actually really excited to talk about some of this stuff here today. Welcome to a Green Beauty Theory monthly wrap-up video. What is Green Beauty Theory? Well, it is a place for common sense minded individuals to gather and discuss the interwoven connectedness of science and intuition and how they pertain to beauty. We are level-headed, intellectual individuals who love to read about some science, who acknowledge everything's a chemical, and yet we still choose clean beauty. So let me jump in because I have a whole host of fun stuff to talk about. The monthly wrap-up video is where I can just bring current events and interesting things that I want to share. Green Beauty Theory actually started on Instagram and blossomed over here to YouTube so that we can have full, robust discussions. Okay, first up, I was on a podcast this week with my friend Mercedes from the longtime Green Eco Beauty YouTube podcast, Instagram account that Mercedes puts together. So she started the podcast, I think maybe 2 years ago, and I've been on it once before, and this time she had me back to have a sort of raw discussion about how these ideas that are coming forth on social media, where we're seeing really aggressive, inflammatory behavior to clean beauty, kind of what that all implies to some degree. And we kind of break down just that whole thing. I've talked about it a lot. I feel really passionate about it. I know some people don't care, but I feel really passionate, as does Mercedes, and I think this comes from her sociology background, about this implication of rejecting people's personal choices for personal care products. There's something that feels sinister at times, and I hate to make it seem so dramatic, but it does feel sinister at times when people are trying to disempower individuals and a movement that's actually taken beauty by storm and is now becoming a multi-billion-dollar industry, and that we're seeing all kinds of avenues of the beauty industry cater to. So it's very weird to me. It stands out to me as not really coherent or cohesive behavior when I see the people in the industry making money off this stuff, making money off the beauty industry, like cosmetic chemists and so forth. When I see them ripping on clean beauty, because as much as they doth protest, right? Clean beauty is still just rising like and it coming down the line like a freight train. And some of the things I'm going to talk about today really pertain to why. And it really is all about transparency, user experience. And I say that over and over again because they don't seem to get it. It's not a fear-based movement anymore. It's not a without of movement anymore. It has to do with transparency. That is the central theme that holds all of us together. And I've said that, and I'm starting to see that word coming up in a lot of the marketing. I'm starting to see people using that term more and more as the reason why. And you heard it here first. Nah, just kidding. Okay, so yeah, so I'm going to link our podcast with Mercedes below. Please go check it out. Now, if you really do love cosmetic science and you really do love the deep discussions, or you're a formulator yourself, the International Federation of Society of Cosmetic Chemists is having another webinar. I mentioned the one they had back in February or January, where they were talking about clean beauty. And again, they're revisiting clean beauty, where we're going to have kind of like a debate. And Romanski, one of my favorite cosmetic chemists, the host of the Beauty Brains, podcast. He's going to be there moderating the discussion, and it's should you formulate cosmetics with natural ingredients? Now that kind of debate, that kind of discussion, I feel like is a little bit dated because I feel like we've all, in the clean beauty movement, embraced synthetics to some degree that are transparent in their origins and manufacturings and use in products. So I feel like this idea of using the term natural, I feel like it's a little bit outdated because we've all come to recognize that natural really has no definition and it tends to be a greenwashing term. But we'll see how or where Perry takes the webinar. That's going to be on the 24th. I'll link it below. It's free to sign up. It was an hour last time and it was super enjoyable. There's a little chat bar and people make comments, so that's fun. I'll link it below. So then I wanted to talk about something I mentioned in the podcast, but I hadn't given Mercedes the link, is Credo and a company called Chem Forward. Chem Forward is a science-based nonprofit focused on the value chain collaborations. They're coming up with this thing where they want to make, and it's somewhat for formulators, to understand the supply chain of where everything's coming from and to offer more transparency to the consumer. This is, again, why would anyone hate on that? Why? Why? You are giving the public information to make health choices. Like, what about that is bad? I don't know. Anyway, that was a story on cosmetics and toiletries. I will link that below if you want to check out more. So then I also wanted to talk about Byrdie or Byrdie. I can't remember how you say it. Birdie Beauty. They had for 2020, this just came out January 29th, 2021. They had their 53 best clean beauty products of 2020. 53 brands that are all being highlighted. Some I haven't heard of, some are kind of like on the fringe to me of what is considered clean beauty, but there you go. I will link that below if you want to check it out, see what they thought. Some of the products they listed are old, faithful, clean beauty products, and some I'm like, meh. But yeah, they have a whole set of judges that weighed in, and so again, super cool, clean beauty, freight train coming down the line. Get out of the way, haters. Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to mention, okay, because we're seeing people bringing up parabens again and again and again, over and over. Don't hate on parabens. Parabens are fine. Parabens are fine. I want to bring your attention to a study done by the Department of Environmental Health Sciences out of the University of Massachusetts. So I want to read an excerpt from this abstract because I feel like it sums up so well what I've tried to say. In this review, we address the ongoing controversy over the safety of parabens. These chemicals have received significant public attention after studies published almost 20 years ago suggested plausible associations between paraben exposures and breast cancer. So they use a systematic approach to evaluate the endocrine disrupting properties. They say it's been used for so many years in food, cosmetics, all these other places, medicinals. They conclude that inadequate evidence has been provided for the safe use of this paraben, this one particular one they're talking about, in food, cosmetics, and consumer products. And, you know, again, what I love to point out, what I feel like is always my take-home point, is that we know that these chemicals have endocrine disrupting abilities. We know that they stay in tissues. We don't know necessarily everything that they're doing, and we don't know our specific body burden. So is it fair to say that it may have unknown, unwanted effects on our health? Yes. Is it fair to say, with that being said, is it a common sense approach to avoid it if you can? Yes. And yet somehow that is painted across social media as being conspiracy theory thinking. And yet, let me just go back here and read off where this was coming, where this study was conducted. The Department of Environmental Health Sciences, School of Public Health and Health Sciences. So again, where are we seeing people make question marks? Where are we seeing people say, we should probably look into this more? Environmental health and health-related individuals and research. It was funny because when I was putting together some resources for Mercedes, I said, all you need to do is go to clinicaltrial.gov and see that they're actively recruiting people over multiple different modalities to participate in being impacted by endocrine disruptors so they can study what happens. I just don't want to hear the conspiracy thinking anymore. And to anyone out there who is making content, making you think that you should not be avoiding endocrine disruptors, I would run far from their content. Because there is no way that they are able to give you a straight answer. I wouldn't sit here and tell you that parabens cause cancer because I don't have the research to back that up. Why would I say something so ignorant? But I do know from actively reading up on this topic, day and month and year after year, that the verdict is out on endocrine disruptors. And anyone who gives you the impression, because there is a lot coming at you right now, there's a lot of misinformation out on social media trying to tell you and gaslight you to stop asking questions, to stop saying, I would like more transparency, or I would like to avoid that ingredient. Anyone who is giving you the idea that that's ridiculous, telling you that you shouldn't be avoiding a ingredient because you have some concern, run far away. Anyway, that's it for this video. I feel like, oh, and I had one other thing. Actually, now that I just got off on a tangent, 9 eco-friendly packaging alternatives for your business shipping needs. As I've been getting things together for my soap business, I have just fully acknowledged that there is just way more aspects to being eco-friendly than just the simple ones that we think of. It's the packaging, it's the packing peanuts, it's the tape, it's the labels, it's all of that. And there's a lot of things to think of. So anyway, I will link that below if you're interested. I like to read up on that kind of stuff so we can spot greenwashing. So that's why I bring something like that up, but they talk about biodegradable packing peanuts, corrugated bubble wrap, cornstarch packaging, mushroom packaging, seaweed packaging, all super interesting stuff. So anyway, thanks for tuning in and I will see you next month. Bye.